Today's question is silencer versus suppressor. What's the difference? There's clearly a misconception out there based on the number of comments that we get and questions that we get on the topic and the general discussion. So I thought, since we have both devices here today, that we could talk about it and hash out the difference. So on this hand, I have a silencer, and then on this one, I have a suppressor. And I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to be clickbaity, guys. This is a real topic, and this is a matter of the syntax of which we have driven the discussion. So if we talk about this, the technical term is silencer. And what I mean by that is the patented device term by Hiram Maxim is silencer. That's what he called it in his patent. And I get a lot of comments where I might say the word silencer on camera and somebody says suppressor, it's suppressor. And no, that is not correct. It's actually a silencer. You could call it a sound suppressor, just like I would call that behind me. If I called it an automobile, you might think I was being facetious, but you wouldn't necessarily say, no, it's a truck, specifically a Ford truck. Better than Chevy. That is clearly not silent. In fact, it's right around the 130 decibel range, which is approximately your rock concert, but that is not damaging to your hearing because it's a single impact noise. So OSHA says that a single impact noise below 140 decibels, an instantaneous impact, is not damaging to your hearing. But if that was a continuous thing like rapid fire, then it would be considered dangerous to your hearing, and you should wear hearing protection when you do that. Unfortunately, what we have done is created a major disconnect in the amount of technical speak that we have associated with these devices, and even up to the level of the people who are legislating these things can't really tell the difference between the terminology on its face. So is as evidenced by some lawmakers saying that they're all for suppressors, but they're not for silencers. So they have really no idea what they're talking about because they're not in that group. They're not in your subgroup. So when you use all this terminology on the thing and you want to get technical with it, it becomes a problem for especially the people that we are trying to work with to understand that things like these are a public health issue more than they are a danger to society issue. And it has been shown that very few, if any, of these devices have been used in violent crime in the United States. In fact, most civilized nations that allow firearms also have no regulations on these items, but yet we treat these things as equivalent to a machine gun, which is completely draconian and asinine. To get this item, I had to undergo an additional 10-month intrusive unconstitutional background check, fill out a whole bunch of federal paperwork, as well as pay an additional $200 sin tax, also unconstitutional, on top of the $1,000 that I paid for the item. That was artificially inflated in its value because of the federal regulations associated with it. So take that over to real world speak. This is not very much unlike the muffler on that. In fact, if this threading was compatible, or that threading over there was compatible with this, for instance, that would be considered a silencer, and then you would have all these federal regulations associated with a muffler that was unattached to a car. So do you see the slippery slope that we're talking about here? So anybody who's talking about more and more regulations on these things, you're clearly missing the mark. You're playing a very dangerous game. And I, again, would love to talk to you about it. If you really want to correct somebody, the true technical term is silencer. That's the original patented name of the thing, just like automobile or whatever, electric horse or whatever the heck it was called before that. You would be better served by spending the amount of time that you're going to spend writing that comment on YouTube or Instagram or whatever the heck it is thing that you think that you have those moral superior high ground to use whatever term that you're using. You would be much better served by writing a letter to your representatives and telling them that these being regulated so draconianly and so unconstitutionally is a public health issue, being that you are exposing people to adverse sound effects through the action of their firearms because they do not have the best technology available to them. So that said, guys, that is our look at the difference between silencer or suppressor. There is no difference between the two. Both of them will work fine. But guys, if you want to really affect change in this thing, be buying silencers, because the only thing that politicians really pay attention to in Washington, D.C. are money numbers. And right now the demand for devices like these is down, and because it's down, they don't really think that many people want them. It's artificially down because people thought that the Hearing Protection Act was going to pass. While I would really like to see that pass, I'm not sure that with us sitting on our butts, not saying anything about us wanting that thing, that for the most part, it's pretty much not an issue. But anyway, that is our look. I'm gonna do some more shooting, and hopefully we'll see you guys on another video here on the VSO Gun Channel.